Welcome to sixth grade language. This is for lesson 149. So this should be Friday, and it is the 17th, according to my the schedule. But if you're doing it earlier, then that's great. So we are going to take a look at page 231. And we're going to do a couple sentences on the board, and then I'm going to do some diagramming on the board. And so I know that that is an area that we've just talked about on that Zoom call earlier this week, but just to give you that extra boost, plus we're adding adverbs to it. So this is diagramming adverbs. So, and they're just like adjectives, only they go under the verb, or they go under, if they modify an adjective or an adverb, there's a special way to do that. And you may have already seen that, and we're going to look at that so that you guys know how to do that. So first of all, I am going to go over the good and well sections on Think A and Think B on 230 before we move on to the board and do these couple sentences and then diagramming. So I just want to go over these and make sure that you guys have them. So have that out. If you haven't completed this for some reason, then you can pause the video, go ahead and finish before you hear it, or you can see if you can skip ahead and then go back to it later. Okay, so Think A, number one, is good. Your new hairstyle looks good on you. Good is the correct. Number two, well. Number three, well. 4 and 5 are both good. 6 is well. 7 is good. And 8 is well. Okay? We did number 1 on Think B together, but that was well and good should be underlined. Number 2, good is not the correct one again, so it's underlined, and well should be in the blank. Number 3 is correct. 4 is also correct, and 5 is correct. So hopefully you read those carefully and you got those right. Number 6 is incorrect, and so it should be well, underlining good. And then 7 is correct, and 8 should be well, so good should be underlined, okay? So that's just a quick help for you guys. I also sent all of your parents, both of the parents that will be with you for this, the answers to the diagramming for Think A and Think B so that they can help you in any way, not to just give you the answers, but if you're stuck on something, they could look at it and try to help you figure out where it's supposed to go, okay? We are going to do several of them before I let you go on this video, but first of all, let's look at these 4 sentences, okay? So we're going to look at which one goes in this sentence. So it gives you the 2 options. So this one says, Kim sat or set the roses on the table. Okay, so did she sat the roses on the table or set the roses on the table? Set, okay? Very good, because she's placing something on the table. So that's, if you can replace it with place, then you know that it's set, okay? That's one way to check it. All right. She made the cards for Stephen and I or me. Okay, she made the cards for Stephen and I or me. This one, to know which one it is, we need to know what place it is doing in the sentence. So let's go ahead and identify our subject and verb and everything to see what part of speech it is, okay? So what's our subject? She, very good, right? She, what did she do, or is there a linking verb? She made, is it action or linking? Action, right? Because she can make it. So she made what? She made cards. Okay, this is our direct object, okay? And then for Stephen and I or me, what is for? It's a preposition, right? So this is a prepositional phrase, all right? So in a prepositional phrase, this is the object of the preposition. What case do we need for our pronoun? Subjective, nominative, objective, or possessive, okay? It's the object of the preposition, we need objective. So which one is objective, I or me? Me, okay? So she made the cards for Stephen and me. One way you can check this is to take out the second name and say she made the cards for me. You wouldn't say she made the cards for I. Okay, so that's another way to check it. Okay, C, $3 is or are not much money. All right, so this one is on that subject verb agreement. Is $3 considered one thing or multiple? It's actually one lump sum. When we talk about dollars or cents, we consider it one thing. And so it would be singular. So which is the singular verb? Is or are? Is, okay, very good. So $3 is not much money. All right, the last one, D, you have less or fewer jelly beans than I. You have less or fewer jelly beans than I. All right, so now remember with less and fewer, which can we count the jelly beans? Can you count the jelly beans? Yes, you can. Okay, so which one do we use when we can count it? Fewer, very good. All right, fewer. When we can count it, we use fewer. When we can't count it, we use less, okay? So there is, that's our review on those. So hopefully you remembered that and that you did well with that. We are going to go ahead and do a little bit of the diagramming. So looking at the top of page 231, I am going to go through, I'm just going to explain how we diagram adverbs. Okay, I've kind of hit on that a little bit, but just to make sure that you guys understand this, an adverb is diagrammed diagonally on a line below the verb, adjective, or adverb that it modifies. Okay, so a verb sits where? On our, I'm going to go ahead and okay, I'm going to scoot over so that we can use the space for diagramming, okay? Utilize our board. So, where does the verb go? On the left side or the right side of our diagram? Verb goes on the right side, okay? So I'm just going to put V for verb, okay? What goes on the left side? S for subject, okay? Well, S, subject, okay? So when diagramming, subject always goes here. If we have one subject, right, we do that. If we have a compound, we do the rocket. But for just this example's sake, I won't do a rocket. I'm just doing that if it's one verb, one subject, one verb. So we have an adverb that goes with our verb where it says we're going to put it on a diagonal line underneath our verb, okay? So diagonal goes like this, right? And you're going to put your adverb, okay? Right on that line. Just like if we had an adjective, we would put it right here, okay? All right, now, if you have an adverb that's describing an adjective, say it's describing this adjective here, you're going to take it, and this is probably one of the trickier ones to do, just to make it straight, but that's okay, we'll work on that. You're going to put it right here underneath this adjective, still on a diagonal line. You just draw a line out and then draw it straight or diagonally down. Okay, so that would go under an adjective. The same if you had another adverb that described this adverb, you're gonna put it right there, okay? So I'm hoping that this is making sense because we know where our subject and verb go, okay? And we've been working on that, and if you're still needing to practice that and do that, it's perfectly fine. Don't worry about that. Just go back and I know, McKinley, you're gonna be doing lots of extra practice on this, and that's just fine. And you know, and if Ryan and Morgan need that extra practice, this is the time to do it, okay? And so subject, verb, and then adjectives go directly under the subjects because these are nouns, so adjectives describe nouns, and then adverbs go underneath whatever word that it is describing, okay? So this is our setup. Now, remember, not every diagram is going to look exactly like this because not every diagram is going to have all of these words. So we're going to do a couple of them that have adverbs, okay? So I'm going to erase that so we can start fresh with our sentence. Okay, the very first one in Think A says, he drives skillfully, okay? So he drives skillfully. I want you to go ahead and underline your subject and verb. Okay, underline your subject and verb. Did you get he as your subject and drives as your verb? Very good. All right, so hopefully you did. If not, make sure you mark those. And then what is skillfully? We need to see what kind of question it answers, okay? So remember, we have our verb drives. Is drives an action verb or a linking verb? Action, right? Okay, so we're gonna, here, I'm gonna put he drives right here, okay? So now let's go through our adjective and adverb questions on this word skillfully, okay? So start with adjective, and we're going to see, all right, does skillfully answer what kind? No. Does it answer which one? Skillfully, which one? No. Does it answer how many? Is it like a number? No. Is it how much? Like just an amount of something? No. Skillfully. Does it answer whose? No, it's not anybody. Okay, so we went through our adjective questions. It doesn't fall under that. So let's go through our adverb questions, okay? So we've got where, skillfully. No. When, skillfully. No, that's not a when. How, skillfully. Yeah, that answers how. We didn't get through all of our questions, and that's okay. How often it wouldn't be, and to what extent. So this would be how. So it is an adverb, and it's describing what word in our sentence. We've got he drives skillfully. Those are our three words in this sentence. So which one would it describe? He or drives? It could only describe drives, right? Because he is a pronoun. It's also our subject. And skillfully has to describe a noun. It has to describe a verb, an adverb, or another adjective. An adjective or another adverb. I'm sorry, I can't write and talk very well. All right, so, and you make the line as long as you need it. You could erase some if it bothers you that it's too long. But we put he drives and skillfully right underneath that. Okay, so this is number one in section and Think A. So you may write that one down so that you have it. Okay, so let's do number 2. Yeah, let's do number 2, okay? All right, so on this, I want you to find your subject and verb. Dad arrived there safely. Okay, Dad arrived there safely. What is our subject and verb in this sentence? Dad arrived, okay? Yep, so underline dad once, arrived twice. All right, so we need to start asking some of our questions, okay? Now, most of these sentences here are going to be, most of them are going to be adverbs. So we can just start with the adverb questions, okay? And if you get to the end of your adverb questions and it didn't answer any of them, then go to your adjective questions, okay? It might be quicker if we start with adverb this time because we know that a lot of these are going to be adverbs, okay? So dad arrived where? Okay, dad arrived where? Is there a word that answers where? Yes, there, there. So there goes back to arrived, it's an adverb, okay? Dad arrived when? Is there one that answers when? No? Okay, dad arrived how? Is there a word that answers how? Yes, safely. Okay, so both of these words go back and they describe arrived, which is our verb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line and we're going to put dad because that's our subject. Put our separating line. Arrived. There. Safely. Okay. So just like adjectives, we can put multiple ones underneath. We can do the same with adverbs. We can put them next to each other. We just do it in the order that they come in the sentence, okay? So there comes first, dad arrived there safely, okay? All right, I wanna do number 3, because that one is a good one. That we need to look at, okay? Love freely forgives. Love freely forgives. Okay, I want you to find your subject and verb in this sentence. Okay, what is the sentence talking about? First of all, it would be love. Love does what? It forgives, okay? So this one, the subject and verb are separated by a word, okay? But we know this is our sentence, so love forgives. We're going to start asking our adverb questions and see if there's a word that answers that, okay? Love forgives where? Does it say where? No, love forgives when? No, love forgives how? It doesn't quite answer how. Love forgives how often? No, it wouldn't answer how often. Does it answer to what extent? I was thinking of the wrong word. It does answer how. Freely. So sorry. But one of the things that you can do when you're going through this is you can say, okay, you can also look for ly at the end of a word because a lot of adverbs do end in ly. Not all words that end in ly are adverbs. Some of them are adjectives, and sometimes they're another part of speech, but a lot of your adverbs will end in ly. And then there's several others that have, like, they're distinguished, they're always adverbs. And so that's one way to check. And so we want to make sure that we're not just, I mean, there's definitely the questions to ask and to keep up with that. But sometimes you can say, well, I think this one's an adverb because of this. And then you can go through the questions and say, yes, I'm sure it is. So I did that one wrong, but it is, it answers how, is freely. I was thinking it said completely, and that would be to what extent. So that is the first three. I'm gonna let you do 4 through 10 on your own. And then you're doing 1 through 5 of Think B as part of the lesson. And then then you have 6 through 10 and the go back section for homework for this lesson. Now, if you get all of that done, and you want to do the homework portion, you can do that. Now, let's see. The go back is not difficult. It's not really doing anything. So if you read that, it's just reading your modifier with the word that goes with, like, there, arrived safely, drives skillfully, forgives freely. Okay, so that that's what the go back section is to do. And okay, I'll move you back over here for a sec. Just make sure that we have everything for you to do. Okay, so that is all of it. Is as you're doing your diagrams, just try as much as you can to use the lines on the paper to help you draw your lines. If you need to use a ruler, that's perfectly fine. We want this to be neat. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we do want it to be neat. We want to be able to read everything. And you want to make sure that you give yourself enough room. So it's okay if it takes up, if you are making let's see, you have a rocket, and the rocket takes up all this space because you have down here, you've got adjectives. You want to make sure that you have enough room for everything. So you want to check before you start drawing lines that what needs to go on these, okay? So don't worry about, oh man, that was a really big rocket. I mean, don't make it like extremely big and take up half the page for a rocket. It shouldn't take that much. But there are some of them that you'll need that space between them. So I would say at least 2 full spaces, but like put 1 line in between of your for your rocket, if not 2 lines. Okay. So keep that in mind. Just do your best on that and try to do that neatly. And then, but this is the only page that you guys are doing today. So it should, even though it's quite a bit of diagramming, I think it'll be good to get this down so that you understand it. And be sure that if you have verb phrases, the verb phrase can go on the same line. But if it's a compound, if it's got and between the verbs, then you want to make the rocket, okay? All right. We will see you next time. Again, any questions?